Thank you to Taro Wolf for their generous donation on Patreon. Now these two have to talk, but later. Although silence hung in their viewing booth as they watched him leave. After a beat, Artemi quietly sat down next to Sid with a gentle look. You're not angry? Why would I be angry? All that stuff Calder said about my thoughts. Artemi fell silent for a moment, pondering her next words carefully. Did I do something wrong? Sid curled up on the floor and buried his face in his knees. No. I see. Would it help if I left? Sid sucked in a deep breath of air. No. I like having you around. I really do. You're my friend. I'm just a jealous fucking asshole for feeling like this. Do not apologize for your emotions, Sir Sid. You cannot simply disagree with a feeling. This is just part of life, as the Knight Commander always says. Artemi shook her head with an incredulous laugh. She sat down on the floor next to Sid with a patient smile. Truly, though, I never imagined myself as someone worthy of such jealousy. Sid snapped up with a patronized glare. You're the Creator's chosen. You were born with ridiculous power and the respect of everyone who knows your name. Common folk like me, well... Calder was right. I'm basically an ant next to you. Quite ironic as you tower above me in physical height. I'm being serious, Artemi smiled. Perhaps the true irony is that you regard me as such a perfect individual. In my early years, the church considered me a defective chosen. Despite these stories about the Creator blessing me at childbirth, I possessed no such magical abilities as a child. Sid blinked with surprise. That's not what people have been saying. Yes, the church does have a certain image to uphold. But at the age where most chosen showed signs of great celestial power, I had next to nothing. The heirs and arcanists of the church detected great potential within me, but I had nothing to show for it. I could barely even keep a candle alight. Her Excellency was most furious with me. Artemi grew quiet. The world needed a chosen one to face whatever threat comes its way, and I was not ready to fill that role. That crushing sensation of waking up every day knowing that you're not enough, I suppose I can relate. Some days it grew to the point where I debated whether it was worth waking up to. Sid's chest lurched. I didn't think someone like you would have to deal with this kind of thing. Then I let out a small chuckle. I thought the same of you. You've always struck me as such a kind and reliable man. That was the wrong voice, but whatever. And more honest than Cole, at the very least. Sid managed a small chuckle. That's not a very high bar. Sid gazed at Artemi, his chest heavy with a confusing storm of emotions. Hey, Artemi. Yes? If you don't mind me asking, how did you end up waking your powers? And dealing with that crushing feeling? The knight fell silent. Oh, it's the fucking candle from the fucking thing, the chapter transition. After a moment, she gingerly reached into her pocket and pulled out a tiny aged candle. It was rather short and thoroughly used. There were small impressions in the wax made by a small hand, as though a child had held it in a deathly tight grip. Oh no, I think I figured it out. Upon a chosen's death, the blessing of the Creator's chosen passes on to the next worthy candidate. And thus, at the age of 15, I was given an ultimatum. Keep this candle alight through a winter storm for one whole night, and the church will deem me strong enough to nurture into the next chosen. Fail, and the power will pass on to someone more worthy than I. Sid felt his stomach drop. What? They can't put that kind of pressure on a child! is prophesied that the world would succumb to great tragedy should the greatest chosen fail their duty. Is the happiness of one child truly so high a price? A knight's duty is to her people. I was willing to do what must be done. Sid stared at the tiny candle in her hand with a growing dread. So you passed the test then? The church agreed to keep working with you? Artemi rolled the candle in her hands thoughtfully. Can you keep a secret, Sir Sid? What? Wait, you don't mean... She laughed bitterly. I failed. The candle went out halfway through the night, and I was left to trod through a blizzard for an entire night. I think at some point I simply gave up and waited for the frigid cold to take me. How in the world did you survive? A bittersweet smile spread across her face as she rubbed a gentle thumb over the worn wick of the candle. A very kind old man said he would miss me if I were gone. And I suppose I couldn't bear the thought of making him sad. And so I fought to stay just a little longer. Artemi gently hid the candle back in her pocket. From that day forward, I held a deep anger within me. Anger toward myself for being unable to fulfill my duty, for always disappointing my loved ones. This wrath became the foundation for my magic. It was the fuel for my first spell and all that came after. Small sparks of electricity pulsed from her hand. You know, the Creator's Chosen is usually a light domain cleric. We should be wielding the warm, comforting flames of the Creator to spread her love to all who bask in her light. A bitter laugh escaped Artemi's throat. My magic was too volatile, too furious. I ended up becoming a Tempest Domain cleric, a seemingly impossible feat for someone who worships the same deity. I still can't really light candles, only zap them aflame with lightning. Another disappointment added to Her Excellency's long list, I'm sure. While wrath isn't the healthiest foundation for one's strength, it has kept me going, at the very least. She turned towards Sid with a genuinely appreciative smile. I do not know what the cure for your feelings of jealousy may be, but perhaps you should look inward for a foundation of strength as well. Hopefully one that is much better than mine. You know, I concur with what Cole said to you earlier. I also enjoy having you around, and my life is better for having known you. At the end of the day, you are my friend as well. Please remember that, regardless of what doubts you may have. Sid looked up at Artemi. Her patient smile felt warm. Sid felt undeserving, but he swallowed the bitter thought back down. Thanks. A loud sniffle suddenly broke them from out of their thoughts. Ah, the two glanced around to see Agatha blowing her nose on a tissue while wiping away a tear. Oh, you kids are so too sweet. Such a heartwarming display of friendship. This was better than the theater troupe's last big production. Sorry, but can you cast Deafen on yourself again? Agatha scowled indignantly. What? Fine. Kids these days, always so afraid to show some emotion for once. Wow, it's still going? Oh god, I guess the duel won't be a cliffhanger. As the hyenas stood off at the center of the arena, the crowd looked on with excitement. Sid peered at Cole's small frame in the distance anxiously. Was he going to reveal his spellcasting ability to this crowd? Sure, he casted Prestidigitation earlier to make his voice loud. That could be explained away with a few arcane crystals. Combat magic, on the other hand, there was no hiding it. What's the matter, little fraud? It's not too late to surrender before you get hurt. Oh, I'm feeling just fine and groovy. What, you're afraid of losing to a commoner? Calder let out an amused scoff. The sun shall turn cold before I, an esteemed noble heir, lose to the likes of you. I will take pleasure in forcing your hand as a mage. It matters not what reasons you have for hiding your abilities. I will drag it into the light for all to see. Cole felt a familiar slithering sensation over his shoulders as Malice poked his head out.
Puny mortal, are you certain you can win? Please remain vigilant. If you get clobbered by this man, I will feel the blows as well.
I can probably take this guy. Wizard class mages have strong magic, but physically they're as resilient as wet paper. One good hit and I can break whatever concentration he needs for spellcasting.
Should you get in trouble, you should consider my proposal. A pact with a demon such as I would grant you more than enough power to crush this despicable man. I can feel it. The temptation to humiliate him is bubbling up inside you.
Cole let out a low laugh. Your marketing skills are getting better, I can give you that. I can take this foppish asshole on my own, though, thanks. In the tower above them, the festival announcer cleared his throat loudly.
Combatants, are you prepared? Now, may the duel commence!
Oh, God. Calder immediately stepped forward, arms outstretched. Fuck this guy, man. Fire erupted from his palms in a violent swirling mass as the hyena cackled gleefully. Behold my true might! This is the arcane prowess House O'Shaughnessy has at its disposal! Think you can still take the likes of me, little fraud? What the fuck? Well, fuck. Oh, boo-hoo, the wizard casts Fireball. How original. Ha! Petty insults will not save you from my flames! Malice poked his head out of Cole's pocket with a squint.
Hey, puny mortal, my offer is still open.
Shush! Shut up, I got this. Oh my god! Fucking Eldorado! Cole raised his lute over his head, or more beside his head, and began strumming it wildly. The crowd leaned forward, craning their heads for any sign of magic. There was nothing to say for the out-of-tune twangs of his lute. This fucking just no expression. This is fucking hilarious. What is this nonsense supposed to be? Fucking me. Mean you can't sense it? I thought your house was supposed to be arcane experts. Look closer. Calder squinted. What are you talking about? There's not an ounce of magic anywhere near. Fucking a sharp smack echoed across the arena as Calder dropped to the floor like a sack of potatoes. Cole immediately leapt forward with his lute raised. The crowd watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as Cole proceeded to clobber the utter shit out of him on the arena floor. Oh, my stomach and face hurts. Hey, can't concentrate on your fancy spells now, can you? Fucking wizards always stand talking shit when all they do is bury their faces in books all damn day. This ain't my first time in a street fight. Calder braced his arms over his head, spluttering furiously in panic. Wait, get off me, you brute! This isn't how a duel is supposed to go! I said nothing concerning about strictly a magic duel when I challenged you, now did I? Get fucked, asshole! Ah! Announce it! It's early that you against the rules somewhere! My god, I'm home alone for this shit. The festival announcer scratched his head as the scene unfolded before him.
I suppose I should break up this fight now?
No. Give them a few more minutes. Like Maeve. I like Maeve. This Calder might just... Oh. She's on fucking Calder's side? Or at least she's pretending to be. This Calder might still turn things around. The announcer looked at her incredulously.
Ma'am, This guy's just getting his ass beaten into the dirt. He's literally crying out for the duel to end.
Despite her veiled face, the announcer could swear that Lady Osmia was smirking wildly as she watched the fight below. I bet she's cool with this. Nay, we must respect these fighters and the competitive spirit of the festival. Give them a few more minutes. I yield! Please call an end to this effort! Oh! What? I can't hear you from down there. Please speak up. Oh, fuck. No, I didn't mean to put on voice. Shut up.
I heard him loud and clear. Perhaps I should...
No. The smacking and screaming went on for a little while longer. In the end, Sid started to feel bad for the guy and ran into the field with Artemi, following close behind to break up the fight. Hey, boss, I think he gets the point. Maybe he's up for a bit. No, keep it up. You've done very well, Cole. You don't think? Okay, so she couldn't beat him up, but her egging on someone else beating him up is fine? Sir Marrow would be so proud if he were here to witness your deeds. I hope Marrow's here. I hope Marrow's in the crowd. But he's not here right now, so he's up, all right. Cole let out a huff and finally holstered his loot.
Fine. Arms are getting tired anyway.
You didn't have to go through all this trouble for me. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But next time, you can save me the trouble and clobber the guy yourself. Don't worry. I'll make Hamish pay for whatever assault charges get thrown at you. Stand up for yourself, dude. Crawling back to his feet and nursing his bruised head. Dude, you took like a dozen loot bashings at least to the head. You ain't getting up immediately. Calder jabbed an accusing finger at the group. I shan't forget this humiliation, quality both breaker. One day I vow to pay your brutish deeds to tenfold. He's gotta have a concussion of some kind. Crowd around them let out a bellowing wave of laughter, followed by jeering boos and snickers. Calder's face flushed red with embarrassment and shame. He hastily ran off the field without another word. Finally, the festival announcer's voice rang through the arena once more.
And that concludes our impromptu and comedic duel. Thank you, Sirs Calder and Cole, for your excellent performance. Now allow us to proceed back on schedule. Up next is the jousting tournament. May the participants please make their way into the ring.
I hope to fuck that Calder does not get to participate.
Our first competitors will be...
There's a brief rustle of parchment as the announcer flipped through his list.
Oh, well, this is... our first competitors will be the esteemed Artemi Joanna Gautier versus Calder O'Shaughnessy.
What? The injured hyena had barely made it back to his seat before jerking his head up in shock. From across the field, Artemi shot him a predatory smile. My, how fortuitous.
Kick his ass for me, will ya?
It will be my pleasure. Has she jousted before? I guess it would probably be part of her chain. It will be my pleasure. Cole grinned and raised his hand for a fist bump. Artemi stared at it for several long moments before turkeying it with a frown. Ah! Is this the correct response? I'm unfamiliar with this gesture. Dude, it's a fist bump. You're supposed to bump fists to psych yourself up. She's gonna punch the shit out of him. Ah, I see. This is a high five, but with the promise of violence. I will not let you down, Cole. And Sir Sid, rest assured that Calder O'Shaughnessy will be thoroughly punished for his deeds. Sid was like, what? Sid watched the two gleeful friends with a concerned look. You guys are a little scary sometimes. We are defending your honor as friends should. Oh, anyways, I must be off to prepare for my joust. Wish me luck. Well, we better get back to our seats before someone takes them. You coming, boss? Cole was staring out into the sea of people in the viewing booths with an apprehensive expression. Huh? Oh, sorry. I think it's actually time for me to go. Sid blinked in surprise. Go where? The tournament's about to start. Aren't you going to stay and watch? Cole shook his head firmly. Afraid I can't. There's something important I have to do before the brawl begins. Sid's shoulders slumped. So you won't be watching me fight? Unfortunately. Sorry, I won't get to watch you kick ass out there. I know you'll do great, though. Big guy like you with Clyde's masterwork weapon, I doubt anyone will stand a chance against you. If you say so. Aw, you'll kiss. Kiss and a wink. Sid yelped as Cole suddenly leaned forward and planted a firm kiss on his cheek. A warm wave of calm washed over him as Cole's bardic inspiration filled his body with arcane strength. It felt like a firm, loving hug in spell form. Keep your chin up, all right? You're my lackey. Go show people what it means to mess with our little adventuring party. Despite the dreadful lull that weighed over Sid's shoulders, the edge of his lips twitched into a small smile. I'll do my best. It's the least I could do. Good luck on whatever you're off to work on, boss. Cole shrugged. No rest for the wicked. I'll see you after the tournament ends, buddy. Wonder what he's off to do.
All right, let's get back on track. The first round of the Firefly Festival Jousting Tournament is about to begin. Are our honorable participants ready? The crowd's cheers shook the stadium as everyone looked on in anticipation. Artemi shuffled in place and gripped her jousting lance tightly. On the other side of the field, Calder O'Shaughnessy rode into position on top of a handsomely pampered feral horse. The steed looked in excellent health and was clearly expensively cared for. Typical of one might expect from a noble. Come on, Calder should have a concussion. Despite his bruised face and slightly bleeding nose. Have you ever been hit with a lute? Calder managed to look down on Artemi with an air of superiority. What's the matter, my dear chosen one? It appears you are not in possession of a steed. How will you expect to joust without one? What, do you intend to run at me like some beast of burden? If you're in need of a horse, just ask. I'm sure the generosity of House O'Shaughnessy will be happy to accommodate you. Artemi adjusted the handle of her lace coldly. I respectfully decline. Need I remind you that I am a paladin? Perhaps it's best that you worry about yourself as you always do. Calder scoffed and steered his feral horse into position. Suit yourself. I look forward to the praise Grandfather will grant me once I best the creators chosen in a joust. Artemi silently made a mental note to apologize to Cole for any grief she has given him for his vices. She had no idea that there existed someone far worse. Cole appeared like an absolute paragon in comparison. She was going to take great pleasure in knocking Calder off his high horse. Artemi turned towards Sid's direction with her lance held high. I dedicate this match to my dear friend Sid Shrikewood. May this set an example to all who dare insult my companion in arms. From the viewing booth, Sid fidgeted nervously as he watched the very horseless knight proclaim loudly to the crowd. Thanks, Artie, but maybe we shouldn't count our chickens before they hatch. The shrill voice of the festival announcer, oh, it's a shrill voice, okay, suddenly pierced the stadium air once more. Get in position! Now may the joust begin! Calder's horse immediately dashed forward and made a mad gallop towards Artemi, lance pointing forward. Wow, she really is just gonna do this. Artemi was unfazed. This is a fucking awesome mix of the 3D like background stuff and drawing. Dude, this is fucking cool. And looks like Grease. The crowds watched in utter confusion as she crouched down on the grass like a predator posed to strike. What in the world are you doing? Well, whatever, I suppose. I would be happy to take this easy win. Artemi smirked. Suddenly she launched herself forward, arms outstretched. Lightning danced from the palm of her hand like long, furious rains. What? Call Steed, she's got a lightning horse? There's a fucking lightning horse in this game! God damn!
Metallic smell of ozone filled the air. The brilliant blaze of lightning hurt to look at as Artemi and her steed rushed forward, glanced at the ready. Grass singed and burned below them. Showers of sparks glinted off her armor as she flew towards Calder at lightning speed. Holy shit! What? I yelled! What? I can't hear you. It's too bright in here. Moments before the two horses collided. Don't collide with horses. The arena was consumed in a burst of blinding celestial light. Oh my god. Everyone in the audience shielded their eyes. No one could see what was happening. After a beat, the light slowly faded away to reveal what remained of the joust. Calder was curled up in a fetal position on the grass, his horde fleeing the scene in a terrified sprint. Artemi's celestial steed had disappeared as well. She stood over Calder's prone body, gingerly poking him with her lace like one might poke roadkill to test if it was still alive. Come on, stop overreacting. It wasn't that bad. I almost died! Surely this has to be against the rules. This is an attempted murder! It's fucking jousting. You're coming at someone at high speed with a fucking pointy stick. You leapt off your horse and began sobbing on the ground before I could even reach you. Where is your competitive spirit? I came here to joust in a tournament, not to babysit frightened children. Come on, get back on your steed. We're doing this again. The festival announcer's bewildered voice sounded across the arena. Well, in accordance with the rules, Sir Calder has proclaimed his surrender after yielding to you. But wait! Nobody said anything about summoning your own steed in this competition! Surely the chosen is disqualified on that alone!
Well...
Maeve Osmia quietly cleared her throat. There are currently no rules pertaining to what type of horse participants may ride in the jousting tournament. Despite its celestial and summoned nature, Lady Artemi's steed was still a horse and still falls within the tournament's parameters. This is an outrage! She tried to kill me! You should take defeat with grace. This is a jousting tournament. Having lances pointed your way should be expected. Artemi turned towards Sid's viewing booth with a grin. Did you see that, Sir Sid? Your honor has been avenged. Sid scratched his head as he looked at Calder, prone and sobbing on the burnt grassy floor. I mean, the guy was an asshole, but I think you guys broke him. Artemi waved her lance in the air and laughed with glee. I never expected this tournament to be such fun. It feels nice to finally let loose for once. Dear announcer, who will I face off against next? The sound of the furiously rustling parchment and nervous whispers filled the air. After a beat, the festival announcer faced the audience with a hint of despair.
Well, about that.
Artemi blinked. Is something the matter?
All of the other joust participants had just surrendered their spots in the...
Wow. Everyone else fucking just surrendered? What a bunch of pansies!
That means our winner will automatically go to you, Artemi Joanna Gautier.
No one clapped through a sea of confused looks. Artemi gaped up at the viewing tower in dismay. What? Just like that? What about the competition? We are here to joust, are we not? The festival announcer cleared his throat nervously.
I don't know how else to break it to you, but nobody here wants to face off against the creator's chosen and her giant lightning horse.
They've all shit their pants.
They've all shit their pants and...
Struggling to get out of their armor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jousting armor is like many latches and for... Oh, if you shit in that. Oof. Oof. Disappointment and bewilderment spread across Artemi's face as she looked around the arena. Wait, did I ruin the tournament? Sorry if I got carried away. I didn't mean to. This is the most disappointed someone's ever been at winning against an entire tournament all at once.
Yes, you did. Why can't you people ever stick to the schedule?
What are you, me?
First, the king and queen had to fucking die, and nobody wanted to take the damn organizer job, and then this uncultured druid just waltzes in to replace my boss. Then you folks just had to go and host a duel and then summon a giant glowing horse, didn't you? I don't get paid nearly enough for...
Ahem. Yeah, you just fucking that had to fucking die. Like, you're fucking exiled, bro. There was a pause and a brief scuffle up at the viewing towers. After a beat, Lady Osmia poked her head out toward the crowd. This concludes the Firefly Festival Jousting Tournament. Thank you to all who participated. Please remain patient while we set up the Brawling Tournament. It should take but a moment. Wow. Wow, to be continued. Man. What a bunch of wusses. What a bunch of little babies. What a bunch of little pansy asses. What a bunch of little fucking weenies. What a bunch of little sacks of butt cracks. All right, that's the end of the episode. Thank y'all for watching. The end of several episodes, I imagine. Thank y'all for watching. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. This was fucking hilarious and fun, just like always. And heart touches your heart at just the right times. Thank y'all for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye! Bye!